Let's read the article about the Whispers, because I know everyone's talking about it, because Nobbel made a video, which is excellent. I'm not going to watch the video. Okay, so these are the new ones. I know you, what you were, what you will yet be, which is where I think the theory, which I'm still going to credit the Blizzardwatch podcast with, and the Lorewatch podcast, because that podcast came out in like December, I think, and they were talking about it then. And unfortunately, the Lorewatch podcast does not get anywhere near the listenership that it deserves. So it took the theory a long time to come out. It took until basically, you know, the Reddit thread. But this idea that by going back in time to the Black Empire, a lot of us are still wearing the N'Zoth eye. It only shows when you're in like BFA content or Stormwind or whatever, but it's there. And by going back in time wearing the N'Zoth eye, he canonically can see everything that we have seen. So when we go back in time a billion years, and N'Zoth is there, and he's like, yo, this motherfucker's wearing my eye. Huh. And he sees, you know, what happens with us and him. So the theory is that by going back in time, we have shown N'Zoth the future. The real future that happens to him. A Lorewatch podcast on YouTube. I highly recommend it. I'm a patron, so I get to listen to it as soon as they record it. The Blizzardwatch podcast is a more like general thing. The Lorewatch podcast is my favorite. I love it. And it's just Joe Perez and Matt Rossi talking about lore, and those dudes know their shit. So N'Zoth knew we would kill him, or yeah, and whatever you want to draw from that. So maybe things that happened are just because N'Zoth saw it when we came back and he made that happen. There's loads of things you can speculate from N'Zoth seeing the future from us. Not very much of it good for us. I thought the Void could see all possible futures anyway. So here's what I think about that. I know when I roll a dice that if it's a six-sided dice, it's going to land on one of those six sides. And if I'm playing Snakes and Ladders, I know which square I'm going to land on for every single roll of that dice. So in that sense, I can see all possible futures when I roll that dice. It's either going to land on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, which means I'm either going to go on this square, this square, this square, this square, or this square, with all the different things that could happen when I'm on those squares. But I still don't know which number it's going to land on when I roll it. Like, I can see all possible 6 futures in the scenario of me rolling the dice, but I don't know which one is going to actually happen. So just because an old god can see all possible futures doesn't necessarily mean they know which one is going to happen. And so us going back in time with the N'Zoth eye showed him which of those infinite possibilities actually did come to pass. Like, I can see all possible futures when I roll a dice, but I still don't know which one it's going to be. Yeah, and then he could prepare for it, exactly. He could be like, oh shit, I'm going to get stabbed by the blade of the Black Empire, so I need to make sure that's a good thing. So I need to make sure that that is something that can benefit me. I'm going to get stabbed by the blade of the Black Empire. I've seen it. That's definitely going to happen. So I need to make sure that when that happens, it's a good thing. So us going back and showing him what possible future was going to be means there's only one future that he has to prepare for, rather than having to cover all possible tracks and like do a million D chess. He's like, oh, I will definitely get stabbed by the blade of the Black Empire. What can I do in the meantime to make that a good thing? I could spend millennia filling the blade of the Black Empire with like power that will benefit me when I'm stabbed by it, would be an example. Which old god are you hoping comes back? Yisharaj. N'Zoth is my favorite. He's amazing. But Yisharaj is the new one, like the old new one, right? That's the one I'd like to see. I feel like Blizzard's plan isn't nearly that cool, but they might borrow a fan theory, so win-win. Yeah, and you know, Lorewatch has been right about stuff before. Don't forget, it was Lorewatch that predicted that Azeroth was a Titan years before Chronicle made it canon. Like, and that was Anne Stickney that made that speculation, who now works on the story team at Blizzard. So I'd love to see Yisharaj come back. Yeah, I think that'd be really, really cool. I think that'd be really awesome. So then you've got these new whispers. So I know you, what you were, what you will be. I think that refers to, yeah, it's quite easy to see that that might refer to the Eye of N'Zoth coming back in time and showing him the entire future. I think that's a pretty fair shout. Deeper, deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. So, yeah, that's quite difficult not to think that it might be part of the New World Tree. Like, it's impossible to look at that whisper and think, oh, that's not the New World Tree, right? But then, I with these ones, it's fun to speculate, but it's almost impossible to ever know. Like I say, when those Il'gynoth whispers came out, it felt like every single Il'gynoth whisper, it was obvious what it referred to. 5 torches to light our way. Oh, well, that's the 5, like pillars of creation, right? That we collect during Legion. It makes sense. We have made her heart a crater. Her heart is a crater and we have filled it. Oh, well, that's got to be Jaina, right? It makes perfect sense. The crater, her heart. When she comes back, she's going to be like void corrupted, stuff like that. Like, we thought we knew what every whisper meant in the context of when we were reading it. And then next expansion, we were like, oh, actually, the 5 keys could mean something else completely. I think it means this now, I think it's the world trees, or like in Shadowlands, it's like, oh, it's the covenants. So like, yeah, it always means something different. And whatever expansion you're in and whatever story you're in, the answer seems obvious. So right now, the deeper, its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. Now it seems like, yeah, the answer to that is obvious, right? The answer to that is obviously the New World Tree, obviously. But it could be something we haven't thought of at all yet because we don't know about it. And, that's by design. And it's better that way, if you ask me. It's better. I love the Old God Whispers being, like, really tantalizing. But it does mean that I think it's dangerous to try and read too much into them. Doesn't mean it's any less fun, though. So let's do it. With many eyes, they will see again. They will drink and be uplifted. What do we think about this one? Galakrond? The seed. Could be the seed, couldn't it? It could be the souls in the seed who have many eyes between them. So you're saying that the New World Tree, after digging its roots deeper and welcoming our embrace, like the entire tree will be reborn, but, under the control and using the power of old gods. Or could refer to the Drakthir. Yeah, opening their eyes and seeing their true purpose, right? 5 torches could equally be the Oathstones. Exactly. So, like, the fact is, I feel like the 5 torches line in particular is one that has had a different obvious answer every expansion. And that's kind of my point, yeah? Obviously it was the Pillars of Creation in Legion. In BFA, people were talking about it being world trees, because, Thaldrassus was a torch. In Shadowlands, people talked about it being the Covenants or whatever. And yeah, in now you could say it's the Oathstones for sure. Potentially it could be something to do with Rapham. His whole thing in Hearthstone was trying to resurrect Galakrond and his model was data mined. Yes, I got a feeling that might have been a red herring because it's gone now, but I don't know, we'll see. What if we are the many eyes, all of us, the players, the adventurers? What if N'Zoth has been seeing through all of us? Oh yeah, that could be cool. It still doesn't have like an obvious answer though, does it? Is the new tree the rebirth of Il'gynoth? I feel like they wouldn't bring Il'gynoth back for a 3rd time. Maybe though. So this is like the really interesting one to me because I don't understand it. You can think of a pretty obvious answer for all of these except this one. Nothing seems to fit. If it was Galakrond, I feel like it would say, with many eyes, he will see again. We'll go on to, you will follow him to the deep places, the dark waters will flow in his wake. That feels like it's Eridikon, or the Watchers, Nozdormu. Okay. I feel like that one's Eridikon, but like I say, it could mean anyone. Her dreams sing beneath the surface, our dreams, our song. That definitely sounds like Azeroth, right? That sounds like the world's soul. But again, maybe not. So like I say, all of these feel very, very obvious, just like her heart was a crater, or 5 keys to open the door, 5 torches to light the way. Those felt like they had very obvious answers in Legion. Turned out not to be the case. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna corrupt the New World Tree. I feel like if this does refer to the New World Tree, then we're gonna get like a scenario or a storyline or a dungeon or raid even, where we fight off the old god influence from the New World Tree. And it'll be like, it's the New World Tree. Oh no, it's been corrupted by old gods already. Let's get rid of them straight away. And that's what we do. I feel like if it is referring to the New World Tree, that will actually get sorted very quickly. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. You know, I don't think the tree is going to grow and everyone be like, yay. And it'd be like, oh no, it's an old god thing now. Fuck you. I just don't think that's going to happen. If the New World Tree is being corrupted again, people will lose their mind. Yeah, exactly. So I just don't think it would be a satisfying arc. I just feel like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some old god stuff to fight off once the new tree grows or whatever, which could make these lines be true. Because don't forget, N'Zoth's knowledge of the future and the future that happens is over. If us going back in time has shown him the future that we have lived through and allowed him to prepare for it, that pre-knowledge is over now. You know, everything we're seeing now, N'Zoth from 10 billion years ago is not seeing anymore. Unless we go back to the Black Empire, right? So in many ways, it's like in that episode of Loki where they see Kang and he's like, I'm getting to the bit of history right now that I don't know what happens. And I'm there. And it feels like that's where N'Zoth is now. So right up until the moment we went to the Black Empire, N'Zoth knew everything that was going to happen. But now we're in the time that he doesn't know. Because we've been to the Black Empire and everything we're seeing now is new to us, but we've already been. Does that make sense? So at this point, he's relying on the knowledge that he had, and, you know, he's had like a billion years to make these plans, knowing exactly what was going to happen. It's like, I'm going to get stabbed. The Titans are going to come, right? None of the old gods knew about the fucking Titans at that point, or the fact they were going to find Azeroth, right? In the Black Empire, you know, it was just them versus the elementals at that point, and the Titans were going to come later. But suddenly N'Zoth knew everything that was going to happen with the Titans. He's like, the Titans are going to come, and Aman'Thul is going to fucking pluck Y'Shaarj out of the planet. Y'Shaarj, did you know you're going to get plucked out of the planet, mate? Maybe you should make some plans. We revealed to N'Zoth, under this theory, literally the Titans were going to arrive and defeat them and imprison them. So now we are at the stage of the timeline that N'Zoth did not see all of. He still sees every possible future, he just doesn't know which future it's going to be. Now he's back to rolling the dice rather than knowing which number it's going to land on. I find that a really interesting idea. The idea that, yeah, we did show N'Zoth his entire future and the entire future of the world, but then we're at the stage now where as soon as we got back from the Black Empire, so just basically Dragonflight Endgame is where N'Zoth does not know everything that's going to happen. He has had a billion years to lay those plans and to prepare for this moment, but we are now beyond the point where he knows exactly what's going to happen. He's back to just knowing that, you know, he knew literally what was going to happen. Now he's just back to knowing the future, or knowing possible futures. And I think that's a great, really interesting theory, personally. And her dreams sing beneath the surface, our dreams are songs. So we think that is Azeroth, right? That's the obvious answer. What if it's not Azeroth? What else could it be? Because the obvious answer is Azeroth, right? But what if it's not? I actually first thought Ashara. Ooh, Ysera? Why would she be beneath the surface? Ionar? She's like trapped down there or something. Ooh, a dreamer dragon? Oh, I like that. I don't think it's Ysera. Why do people think it's Ysera? Her dreams sing beneath the surface? And none of that's got anything to do with Ysera. Has it? I don't know. Beneath the surface of reality in the dream? Yeah, totally, could be. I think Ashara will be back. I think we'll definitely see from Ashara again. I mean, like the obvious answer, it's kind of impossible for me to think of anything that this could refer to as Azeroth. I feel like this is the most obvious one. Could it be Helia? Ooh, Alleria. Ooh. Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Our dream. Our song. Well, she's literally got whispers the whole time, hasn't she? So we know that Alleria constantly has void whispers whispering to her the whole time. That could be her dreams singing beneath the surface, right? It actually fits really, really well. Like, she's got like a void monologue going on the whole time. And that would indeed be their dreams, their song. Okay. I think it is Azeroth, don't get me wrong. I think it's definitely Azeroth. And that's just the obvious answer. But Alleria is the only other thing I can think of that absolutely fits. Okay, so obviously, like, the evens is Azeroth, but I'd make Alleria the next most likely candidate. Yeah, totally. She's someone that the old gods would give a shit about and consider, certainly. Any moment now, she could just turn, right? Like, any moment she could fall to the void. That would be a domino that started a lot of big events in WoW, for sure. She was in Shadowlands, but not loads. No, I'd say she's still a very relevant character, honestly. Particularly as her story is going to get more and more relevant as the void becomes more and more of a thing. You know? At the moment, she's essentially like a time bomb. She is like the metaphorical shotgun over the fucking mantelpiece, right? Yeah, I'd be very surprised if Alleria wasn't a big, big deal in the future. And Taliesin as well, for that matter. But her kind of arc is so kind of brimming with potential, especially if stuff goes cosmos. Because Taliesin and Alleria literally were out there in the cosmos doing cosmosy things for 10,000 years, right? And Alleria is this big ticking fucking time bomb of void, which makes Taliesin potentially a big ticking time bomb of light. Their child is the child of light and shadow, the much prophesized. I know everyone disagrees with it, but, you know, I still think it's him. So yeah, I'm very tantalized by this being about potentially Alleria. So yeah, I think the main takeaways from this, and I don't know how much Nobbel talks about in his video, honestly. I think the main takeaway from this is the theory that we show N'Zoth which of the infinite possible futures he's seen will be the one that happens, and therefore he has like billions of years to prepare. He knows that the Titans are going to come. He knows that Y'Shaarj is going to get plucked out of the world. He knows everything that happens up into the moment that we go back to the Black Empire in Dragonflight. And so he has had all of time, pretty much, to prepare and to lay plans and to make sure that things that were definitely going to happen would be of benefit to him. Like, if you know you're definitely going to get stabbed by a certain dagger, what do you do in a billion years to make sure that that's a good thing and not a bad thing? Like, because you can't change the thing, but you can have an effect on the thing to, I don't know, make sure that when it happens, it's a good thing or not a bad thing. Like, so for example, you know, if I know that someone's going to drop a piano on my head and there's nothing I can do about that, how do I make that a good thing? Well, if I know it's going to fall on my head, I can make sure that I'm like standing over a fucking manhole cover when it lands on my head. And if I ever needed to fake my death in front of a whole bunch of people, I could make sure that those people were there to see the piano drop on my head, right? And I could make plans for other people to pretend, you know, to come along pretending to be doctors and say that I'm dead, and everyone would believe it because they all just saw the piano fall on my head, right? But actually, I had negotiated a way to survive that situation and turn it to my advantage. Not Sherlock Holmes, because I've just explained it. If it was Sherlock, they'd just ignore it. They'd never explain it, and they'd treat you like a fucking idiot for even asking. So, like, yeah, if you know that you're going to get stabbed by the dagger, how do you make it so that's a good thing? You know? And so that's what he's had a chance to do. And now we're in the part of the timeline that he hasn't seen. He still sees all possible futures, but he doesn't know which one it's going to be in. So now we're on a slightly more even footing again. But all of this time, because we went back there and we showed him his future using the Eye of N'Zoth, like, we showed him every single fucking dice roll. It's easier to prepare for stuff that way, but now, not so much. But if he had knowledge of what was going to happen to Y'Shaarj, could they have prepared? Like, if they know that Y'Shaarj is going to get plucked out of Azeroth by Armenthul, what preparations could they make for that? For, you know, the survival of Y'Shaarj and the return of Y'Shaarj. I find that a really interesting thing as well. I know that, like, the old gods were kind of in opposition to each other, so maybe N'Zoth wouldn't have said anything to Y'Shaarj at all. Or maybe N'Zoth made plans to be able to bring back Y'Shaarj, but under his control. Who knows? So all of these things could happen, but the important point is, the bit of the timeline that we're on now is that N'Zoth does not know either. And the whispers are really good. They all have an obvious answer. The only one I'm still a bit stumped on is with many eyes they will see again, they will drink and be uplifted. There's nothing that really fits. The best fit is the spirits and the seed. I'm still not sure on it. Who knows? It's very interesting. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I feel like that's a really good theory. I don't know how much Nobbel goes into that in his video, but that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Patron's only $1.